Hello and welcome back to Aubrey Books and Coffee. Please grab your favorite beverage of choice and join me. It's now January, you guys. Hooray, January! Which means, of course, we get a new TBR round. And I am so excited to see what goodies I'm going to get to have and put them up on my shelf like normal and just see it grow into the chaos that it's definitely going to be. So let's get started. A new month. Yay! So let's see how many rolls that we're going to get. We're going to start with rolling our 6-sided die. And it's a 5. So we are going to have a total of 5 prompts. Yay! So prompt number 1 is a roll again. Don't mind if I do. And it looks like a cookie. Yay! And the cookie says, Black Lives Matter. So our first roll got us BLM, Black Lives Matter. I'm excited because you know I've always got something on my shelf ready to go for this. So I chose Stealing Snow by Danielle Page. Now my theme for the month of January, of course, is going to be ice, snow, winter, cold, anything that can kind of fit the bill with that. And so this goes perfectly with that theme, and it's a beautiful cover. It's basically a retelling, it says, of the Snow Queen. And so I'm excited because this follows a girl named Snow, and she's in a mental asylum, and her only friend suddenly disappears, and she doesn't know who she can turn to, who she can trust, and she's being told by these orderlies that there's a whole kingdom up for grabs just for her, and they're pretty sure she's the chosen one. So we'll have to see how that goes. Meanwhile, the author, Danielle Page, apparently before she got into doing a lot of writing in the young adult world, she was doing several things on TV and got Writers Guild of America Award, nominated for several daytime Emmys. And yeah, it just sounds like all around a kick butt kind of lady. So I am excited to read this, and I will let you guys know at the end of the month what I thought. All right, rule number 2 is a wine glass. And the wine glass says, if it'll focus, a graphic novel, and womp womp, we got a coffee break. So our next prompt was for a graphic novel, and I had to ask my hubby for this because I didn't actually have any graphic novels that had ice, snow, any kind of theme like that. So he chose for me Planetary, and this is by Warren Ellis and John Cassidy, and apparently this guy right here is named Snow, Elijah Snow, and he has cold powers. That's all I know about it, but he says it's one of his favorite of all time, so I'm excited to give it a try. So for our coffee break, here's hoping it's going to be something good, please. I don't want anything awful. Please let it be caffeine. Please, 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 please let there be caffeine. Oh no, it's decaffeinated, and it is erasing a check mark on my TBR card. Oh no, because of the coffee break, I have to erase a check mark from my TBR card. For those who are new, this is the card that I completely stole off of Kim from Whimsical Narratives, and she's not mad at me for it. But basically, to kind of temper my spending on new books, I have to actually read 10 before I earn a book. And so I've been really keeping to this really hard. I do not pull a book off of my to-be-earned pile without having done this first. So it's really sad when you have that many and you're so close to getting another one, and now we have to erase one. So I may have to get some alcohol. I usually do it in like Sharpie, so I may have to get some alcohol to fully erase it, but basically, yeah, it's gonna have to get erased now. All right, roll number 3 is a coffee. And the coffee cup says, if it'll focus for me, newest publication date. So for our third prompt, we got newest publication date. And so for this one, and also sticking with our theme of ice and snow and cold, I went with one that came out towards the tail end of 2023, and that was Omen of Ice by Jus Accardo. It is the absolutely stunning edition that came in the Owl Crate box. I absolutely love this book. And so if it's not a 5-star though, obviously it means it gets to go to you guys. So win-win. All I know is this follows a main character named Keltania Toon, who has been training her whole life to become a bodyguard for the Winter Fae Prince. And basically, as soon as she gets to the court and is able to start taking on this mantle, he wants nothing to do with her. And of course, there's some secrets going on that she has to uncover. So I am very excited. Feels kind of enemies to lover and some political intrigue. Rule number 4 is a peppermint. And the peppermint says, new to you author. So our fourth prompt was a new to me author. For this, I chose someone who is definitely new to me. As far as our theme goes, it's not really ice or wintry, I guess, but it's something that I would wear a lot of in the wintertime, and that is Wool by Hugh Howey. This feels very much like a dystopian kind of thriller, and so I'm kind of excited to get to it. Again, not really ice, but it is in a world where, like I said, dystopian, of where it says the very air could kill you, and it's like every time someone's born, someone dies, and it just feels like, yeah, like a really cold and cruel world. And rule number 5, the last one, is a peppermint. And the peppermint says, to use the random number generator from my list. So our last prompt gave us number generator. I love when this happens because, of course, this list just keeps growing. So for this one, it landed on 94, which gave me Reputation. All I know about this is it looks like it's going to be kind of a Jane Austen-esque kind of book, and that makes me so happy. I feel like it can still be stretched into our theme for the month because it's got blue on the cover. Blue, ice, cold. You got to work with me here, guys. Now we get to pull from the apothecary jar. Ooh, so many good things in here. All right. Pulling one. And it looks like it's going to be... Ooh, Scythe. Is that going to focus? Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I've been wanting to read that. So the apothecary jar gave us a very interesting pick, one I have been super wanting to get to and have been putting it off because there's always more books to read, am I right? So for this one, we're going to be reading Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I'm excited about this. All I know is, again, it's kind of like a in the future setting kind of world, so kind of dystopian, where basically the human race has conquered all diseases and even death, and the only way someone dies is for someone like a Grim Reaper kind of figure with a scythe comes and kills them. Sorry, Stevie's just very loud in the background. So anyway, so basically, yes, I think killing can be kind of cold, right? So maybe that's how it kind of fits our theme. Now we get to pull from the Advent jar. This is the gift to myself. My top 3 from each month go in here. And then I get to pick 2 to read in my TBR. 1 and 2. And then I get to add those to my TBR. And I'm always so excited, or I wouldn't recommend them as the top 3 new releases of the month. So it looks like I'm going to get to read Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney. Woo! And The Unmaking of June Pharaoh by Adrienne Young, if that will go into focus at all for me. Oh, I'm so excited. Those are so good. I love these picks for the Advent jar. Oh, I get so excited when I get to draw 2 out of there. And it did not let me down. So let's see if I can find a way to make these fit. First, we got The Good Bad Girl. Now, this one I'm super excited about. It's a thriller. All I knew about it whenever I got it from Book of the Month was that it had to do with a baby getting kidnapped. At the same time, a woman in a nursing home ends up like trying to escape and thinks people are out to get her, and somehow these things are connected. I mean, it just sounded fantastic to me. And so I'm super excited to finally get to it and read it. And you know, there on the cover, there's umbrellas and rain can be kind of cold. So that's how that works. And then the other one that was picked was The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. This follows a family that unfortunately has a amazing, you know, flower farm, but also a curse. And this curse really takes down family members. And that's all I knew about it. Trying to stay kind of spoiler free on it. And for this, I don't know, the cover of it kind of makes me feel a little bit cool. You know, it's got some stars and night sky. You could picture kind of a cool air, maybe little snowflakes falling. So that's how I'm going to make that work. Now I get to pick from my beautiful jar here that reminds me of the beautiful book box editions I keep getting, and I still need to finish. So let's see who pops out first. That one pops out first. So my beautiful edition I'm going to read is Bow Before the Elf Queen by J.M. Curl. Okay. And I do, of course, want to finish these beautiful editions so that they can go to you guys in our drawings. And we have another drawing coming up. So what better than finishing one this month so it can go to you? And I ended up drawing from that Bow Before the Elf Queen by J.M. Carroll. And again, this is a beautiful edition. This is the Bookish Box edition. And it's signed and everything and just super pretty. And all I know is this follows Layla, whose parents were actually murdered in order to buy her her freedom when she was younger. So she's been training her whole life to be the marriage partner of the evil King Faye. And so when he comes in, though, she's all prepared to, you know, woo him and seduce him and then kill him. But as she gets to know him, some things come up that aren't quite adding up. And so she's now, of course, kind of torn on what she's going to do with him. So I hope this is going to be like a fun kind of romantasy. They said it's kind of a reimagining of Hades' Persephone. So we will see. All right, Bookopoly time. Now, last time we landed on the Leah Bardugo spot, so I'm excited to see where I'm going to land this time. And don't forget that when I get to go, the first person to see me pass go and name one book that's on my TBR for that month, they get a prize with me. So, woo! Let's see. It's possible. I mean, I don't think it's possible this time, but maybe February. Here we go. And it looks like a 5. So let's move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that, in case you can't tell, is a Throne of Glass picture. So that gets to be a Sarah J. Maas book. Ooh, I'm excited. So for our Bookopoly, we ended up landing on the Throne of Glass series. Now, Sarah J. Maas has no backlist I haven't read yet. She does have Crescent City 3 coming out, but not until next month. So for this month, I'm going to be participating in Covers with Cassidy's Patreon read-along that she's doing, where they're doing all of the Throne of Glass. So I'm going to do a reread of the original Throne of Glass novel, and that will be my Sarah J. Maas for the month, and I'm super excited about it. And so the number generator is already on my checklist of goodies to do each month. And so this time it landed on 270, which gave us Death by Coffee by Alex Erickson. It is the cutest little cozy mystery book. Can you even? So I'm excited. This is apparently going to follow Chrissy and her best friend Vicky that open up a bookstore cafe. And one of their patrons on their very first day of business ends up taking his coffee to the grave. Apparently someone put peanuts in it and he's highly allergic. So now they've got to find the killer and stop them. So I think it looks absolutely adorable. It's going to be a lot of fun and I can't wait to tell you what I thought. I'm also continuing my reading through the Star Wars novels because we have them. Why shouldn't we be reading them? Plus, we love Star Wars. And so the next book in the series is Cataclysm by Lydia King. And I'm not going to lie, I'm so tired of these planets. The last two books have been about the same planets. I am so over the politics and the fighting and the Hatfield and McCoyness of it. And I don't want to read another one. This actually takes place apparently 5 years in the future. And once again, the peace is unrested. So we'll see, guys. I don't know. I'm trying to hang in there. And of course, I'm also still reading through the Robin Hobb world. Oh my goodness, I don't want it to come to an end. When it does, though, I've gotten some suggestions during my reading sprints that I do every Friday at 9 a.m. From you guys. And so I've got a couple of series out there that I'm thinking about picking up when Robin Hobb ends. But meanwhile, more on that later on this year when that happens. For this month, I will be reading Blood of Dragons by Robin Hobb, and this concludes the 4-book series that has been about Tintaglia and the dragons. And I've enjoyed the ride immensely. Not that I'm not excited to get back to Fitz and the last trilogy, but this has been a fun ride. I have really enjoyed these a lot, and just reading about the dragons and the people that are with them. And I gotta say, there's a little note here at the top that intrigued me when I picked this up. It says it's as addictive as morphine from the Times. I mean, enough said, right? So now I'm going to be reading, of course, in several different book clubs, the first of which being the ABC Book Club, which is my own book club. I'm going to make sure to have links below and pictures here for you. Please come join us on Instagram or the Discord. We have a lot of fun and it's very laid back. You just post your thoughts as we go. I have a chapter breakdown based each week on where you need to be at. And yeah, just come join anytime. You are most welcome. For the month of January, following our theme, they chose Frost. And so I'm very excited to pick this up. All I know is it's a fantasy. I don't know much more than that. Thankfully, I can get it through Kindle Unlimited, and I will be reading along with you guys. I'm also doing a book club with Liv. I will make sure again to have pictures and links and everything below. Love her so much. I'm one of her Patreons, and she's doing for her book club A Fragile Enchantment. I know nothing about this, but I'm super excited. Then in the same vein of knowing nothing about it, I'm going to move on to the next one, which is the Indie Archives, which is with covers with Cassidy and Mel with Mel Lenore Reads. And we're doing the Crowns of Oaths and Curses. This is another Kindle Unlimited I'm going to get. I'm assuming it's a romantasy. I think it's going to be fabulous. Apparently there's a couple of novellas that take place beforehand. I might try to get to those as well if I have time. And then Kim from Whimsical Narratives, our beloved quest giver for our D&D sheets that we do. She is actually with her Patreons doing a nonfiction called Radical Love by Zachary Levi. So we'll see. So far the nonfictions have done me dirty. We'll see. Hopefully this one will be really good. And then last but not least, I am also doing the book club with the Backlist Book Club, which is again with covers with Cassidy. And the book is still Mark Lawrence's The Girl in the Stars. Every time we do books as a book club, we do 2 months at a time. And so it was December and January. So that one I've already technically finished. But again, it goes perfectly with our theme of ice and snow. And of of course, I'm still continuing the Reddit Fantasy Bingo board. This time I am going for a title within the title. And that's an easy one to fulfill anytime you do any kind of proper title, kings, queens, and so on. And so for this, I'm going to do the sequel that I loved so much from the first book. I'm doing the Second Crowns of Nyaxia. I'm doing the Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. Of course, the sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Really loved it, gave it a 5-star. So I'm hoping this will also be a 5-star since it's just a duology. I am super excited to read more from her. I love her writing style. I love the characters that were in this story, and I need to know what happens next. And of course, I want to support indie authors, and so I am choosing to do one that I didn't get to last year like I wanted, and that's Along the Razor's Edge by Rob J. Hayes. I've not actually read anything from this author before, but I hear he's absolutely phenomenal, and I've heard this is a fantastic story, so I'm really excited to finally get into it. And again, I need to be reading books that have to do with the bookish items that we get in these book boxes. That way I know what they're talking about when they come in. You guys, this is like the 3rd month in a row. I will be reading Priory of the Orange Tree. For crying out loud, I will be reading Priory of the Orange Tree. Like all of you, I'm starting tons of series that just never seem to get wrapped up, so it is now one of the prompts on my checklist. So continuing a series, I of course chose Ruthless Vows. This is the sequel to Divine Rivals, 5-star for me last year, loved it so much, it's on my shelf, and I can't wait to now read this one. I'm hoping it will give me the same feels. The new addition here for January for 2024 is the Trivial Pursuit Book Lovers Edition game. And what I'm basically going to do is roll the dice, move, and try to answer the question. If I get it correct, I get to keep going. But if I get it wrong, I have to read the book that it is inspired by, or the author, or whatever. So you'll see as we go. I'm excited because I'm hoping this helps me to kind of branch out and read more nonfiction authors I've not heard about before, maybe some classics, things of that nature. So let's see. 6. Which way do I want to go? This is so scary because it's the first time. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go down. Oh, I'm off the screen a little bit there. You're just going to have to take my word for it. Down here is a purple pie possibility. Grab a card for the purple. And purple is book club. And it says, what monster hit did Jean Auel, I am bad at names, sandwich between the Valley of Horses and the Plains of Passage? Oh my gosh. The Valley of Dolls. I don't know. I really don't know. Do you guys know the answer to this? The Mammoth Hunters. Okay, well, guess what I am now reading in January? Oh my gosh. So that was actually kind of fun. I love that. I just love games, you guys. I just want to play games like all the time. So I loved getting to play this Trivial Pursuit. I got it for Christmas. It is the Book Lovers Edition. It's kind of older, so some of these questions are going to be geared towards older books. But that's okay. I'm not mad at that. Like I said, I'm trying to branch out of my comfort zone and read books that I would never have picked up otherwise. And this one certainly was that. I have no doubt that I didn't know the answer to this. I'm curious if any of you did. Let me know below if you actually did know that answer. Meanwhile, I'm going to be now picking up from my local library, The Mammoth Hunters by Jean Auel. I'm the greatest at names, guys. I don't know what this is. I believe this is the 3rd in the series. I'm actually going to just go ahead and dive in and read this one because I don't know this is one I'm going to love regardless, and I don't want to start all the way at the beginning just to get to this one. So I will let you know if that was a huge mistake or if it was worth reading or what happens at the end of the month. So Shrink the Shelf was actually a game that was created by SarahBeth Allred. Again, I'll make sure to have all her information below and picture up here. It is gorgeous. It looks amazing. I cannot wait to purchase this. I already told her I'm going to be promoting the heck out of it on my channel because it looks like such a fun game to make sure all these books that are on our shelves are ones we've actually read and just pull them off the shelf and start getting this mess dwindled down. And in that vein, I am like a little kid at Christmas. I am just like impatient. I'm like, come on, where's the game? But it's still only in prototype. It still had some kinks that had to be worked out. It's not ready for sale yet, thus not ready for me to play it. If you go to her channel, you'll get to watch her play her own version. I don't have one. Okay, so since SarahBeth's game, Shrink the Shelf, isn't ready to be purchased and used just yet, it's still in the prototype phase, I'm going to substitute for this. These are basically cards I got in a book box, and they're just TBR prompts, and I'm just going to randomly draw one, and whatever the prompt is, it goes from off my shelf. So we will see what we get here, and I am excited to see what I get to pull off my shelf to no longer have the overflowing shelf. You guys ready? All right. A book you bought just for the cover. Ooh. And so in exchange, since I couldn't do that, I did those cards, which are just cards I got in a book box. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that. So I did pull something off my shelf I had not read yet, but I did own, and that was Chasm by Stacy McGowan. The prompt was a book I bought just for the cover because it was so pretty, so pretty. Definitely gives me cold vibes, so perfect with our monthly theme again. This is the sequel to Ledge, and the cliffhanger they left us on in that book was huge. So I've been wanting to read this. It's been sitting on my shelf. It needs to get read, and now I'm excited I have an excuse to do so. Now, all of these books, and I mean, that's quite a few. Remember, some of those were just audio. I don't have a physical copy. So we're already at quite a few books on my TBR. So all of them are going to go towards my readathon that I want to participate in this month. It's not mine. I'm sorry. I misspoke. A readathon I'm going to participate in this month is being put on by Tangible Reads, and it's called Bootcamp. And I'm excited. I'm going to make sure to link the video below where she gives information on it. She has such beautiful energy that she brings to this, and I'm so excited. She is focusing not just on prompts that sound like, working out stuff like dumbbells, but she also is encouraging you to work out and at your own pace and with your own, setbacks if you have a bad back or whatever. She's not there to judge or push anyone, but she wants to kind of motivate us to get up and move. And she's going to do lots of sprints this month and make sure that we get movement whenever we're there sprinting. And I just love that. I love pairing the getting a little more fit with the books. And so I'm going to make sure to participate. I hope you guys will check her out and participate as well. And let me know below if you did. Speaking of fitness, I am planning on doing a new challenge since I did the Nesta Archeron 10,000 stairs last year and I did the Lord of the Rings miles. I am going to attempt to do the almost impossible. I am going to walk the Oregon Trail. That's right, the entire Oregon Trail. That ends up being 2,170 miles. Now, if you take that and divide it by around 52 weeks in a year, you get about 42 miles a week that I'm going to have to be walking on average, which breaks down to about 6 miles a day that I'm going to need to be walking. That's like 12,000 steps. So wish me luck on that, but that's 100% what I'm going to make my goal for, and I'm going to attempt to do it. And let's see if I can't get a little bit stronger this year for it. And of course, I want to tell you the top 3 new releases that are coming out this month that I am so excited to have. So the first one is going to be Midnight by Amy McCullough. Now, this one is basically a girl that's always wanted to go on a cruise, ends up going with her boyfriend on a cruise to Antarctica. But things aren't what they seem, of course, and people start mysteriously dying. And the first few times it could have been an accident, but it's starting to look very, very suspicious. And now it seems like a killer is out for revenge. Ooh, chilling, right? I can't wait. The other one that I'm really excited about is House of Ash and Shadow by Leah Stone. I've not actually read anything from this author before, but it really intrigues me. This is supposed to follow a girl named Fallon who has a terrible curse that she cannot be touched without being in excruciating agony. Well, her father falls sick and nobody can seem to help him. So she breaks into a place where they're supposed to have the top of the line healers to try to force them to help her father. And while doing so, she ends up accidentally getting touched by one of the healers, but doesn't feel the pain. And so it starts unraveling some crazy secrets and some interesting mysteries. So that just really pulls me in. It makes me want to check this out, doesn't it you? And then the third one that's going to be coming out that I'm a little bit trepidatious about, you're welcome for the big word, is The Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake. The Atlas 6 I really enjoyed. The Atlas Paradox I thought was unnecessarily complicated and convoluted and was not thrilled with. I don't know how the third and final one's going to do. So I'll let you know. I am like kind of excited, kind of not. So we'll see, guys. But thank you so much for being here. Please like, subscribe, send your friends. Let's keep growing together and be looking for some other videos. There's some exciting content coming your way soon. Stevie! Seriously, bud. Seriously.
Hey kids, this is Ryan, or as some of you call me, Mr. Books and Coffee. I very rarely make an appearance on the channel, but I wanted to take a minute as we start a new year and sneak in a video without telling Tiara about a couple of books I finished and some more that I'm looking at reading. I know that she has mentioned on her channel before that she had read We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix, and she made a book box of it for me. Oh my god, it was so fun. It's about a 1980s metal band, basically, that unknowingly had their souls sold for fame. It has some very light Lovecraftian horror elements, not Cthulhu proper, but in the mystery and the air of that mystique. It was just a super fun and enjoyable read, and it's clear that Grady Hendrix, if not a musician himself, he understands a musician's mind, and heavy metal specifically. Also, Chimera by Merritt Grant. This is the last book in the Parasite trilogy. Tiara's enjoyed them. I've enjoyed them. It's just a fantastic hard science read, but is also accessible if you're not into hardcore sci-fi. I'm a very utilitarian reader. I like paperbacks because they're light, they're easy to read and fold, and I don't feel bad if they get damaged. I'm not big on the fancy, pretty editions that come in book boxes and stuff like a lot of you guys are, but if I ever see a book box or fairy loot version of books like this, take my money. I will buy them. So those are the ones that I have completed. The books that I've got on deck that I'm looking forward to, I'm very much a sci-fi and horror reader, kind of the exact opposite of Tiara's choices. But these are what I have on deck. The first is Hyperion by Dan Simmons. I know next to nothing about this other than it's a Hugo Award winner, and it's on almost every must-read of modern sci-fi list that I've seen lately. Pretty much universally loved and respected for quality of content. So I'm going into that almost blind. And speaking of eldritch horrors, second one is By Light of the Dead Stars by Andrew Van Wey. It's about a teenage girl who moves in with her uncle, and they're discovering dark things about their past. Something to do with evil in the town that they're living in. But, I mean, got tentacles and references to eldritch beasts. Yeah, I'm good with that. This is one that I had never even heard of existing before we saw it mentioned on whimsical narrative, Kim's Channel. It's 172 Hours on the Moon by Johan Harstad. I'm going to say that's it. I know he's a very highly acclaimed Norwegian author. It's about a trio of international teenage students who win a NASA lottery to be part of the next trip to the moon. Obviously, something goes horribly wrong, and they face sinister forces. Based on the title, I assume it takes place over about 7 days, 172 hours. I was really kind of intrigued by the fact that after the story, it actually has a discussion guide on talking about topics in the book. I think things like that are fantastic. The author commentaries, director commentaries, I love things like that to give a little bit of background and invite you to be part of the bigger picture of something. Next is Blind Sight by Peter Watts. Don't know super lot about this one, but I know that Peter Watts was on my radar because he wrote a sidequel, a parallel story to John Carpenter's The Thing movie from the 80s, except it's told from the aliens' perspective instead of the humans. Things like that catch my interest because it kind of flips the script on ideas that you're already accustomed to. I know that this was nominated for 7 awards, and what really sold me was seeing another author describe it as, and I quote, "Imagine a neurobiology-obsessed version of Greg Egan writing a first contact with alien story, but from the point of view of a zombie post-human crewman aboard a starship captained by a vampire, with not dying as the booby prize." Yeah, I'm sold. I'm down for that. There's also a sequel called Echopraxia, so if this goes good, I'll be getting that too. And this is where I'm torn, and I ask for you, dear subscribers, to leave a comment and help me pick which of these 2 books will be my last one for this short TBR. Both of them are the beginnings of a series. The first one is John Dies at the End by David Wong. I have no knowledge about it other than it has something to do with alternate realities. Apparently it's been made into a movie. The 3 sequel titles are This Book is Full of Spiders, What the Hell Did I Just Read? And the 4th one is If This Book Exists, You're in the Wrong Universe. Got my interest. And the other one is The Girl Who Could Move Shit with Her Mind by Jackson Ford. It's described on the cover as Alias meets the X-Men. I don't want to read anything else after that. I don't want to be spoiled. So, yeah, that's my message. Yeah, if you think about it, leave a comment of which of these 2 you think I should add to my list. And I think I hear Tiara moving in the next room, so I'm going to sign out for now. Thanks for tuning in and have a great year.